Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Today is going to be a quick one. Yesterday I posted a video about a new mod for the TBM-930, I should say an updated mod from Mixed Mugs, I believe it is, or Mugs, who has done a great job at picking up one of my favorite mods for this aircraft and probably the best that I've seen. Not to say the others aren't great, I don't want to take away from that. There's been multiple mods of this aircraft that have been fantastic and a lot of hard work. Please don't take that as discrediting any of that. I can't imagine what it takes to get some of these numbers right. But yesterday, one of the issues that we did discover is with the latest ground effect changes in the aircraft was that the landing speed was completely off. And just absolutely terrible. And plus there's an issue with the flaps now, also carrying the aircraft even further. So I mean, there's a lot to be worked on. However, today he has updated the mod yet again. So we have added handle to the co-pilot side to close the passenger door, which is awesome. And then a hot fix for 11316 landing speed. So we're going to go ahead and take the aircraft up for a second. You know, we're going to go through all of our checks and changes and verify, you know, what's functioning, what's not. And then we'll take it up around and try to land it again and see if we don't get a better result than we did from yesterday. So let's get after it. No need to stand on ceremony here. So as you can see here, we have the passenger side open, the front doors open, and then if we move around, you can see we also have the cargo door open. Let's go ahead and step in the cockpit and we'll see how a lot of this is done. So from the passenger side door, you used to have to sort of peek back there and reach up and grab it. So I'll show you guys what I mean here for just a second. I think it was Alt-6 that I created yesterday. That's close enough. Oh, maybe not. Let's go to Alt-5. Huh, that's interesting. Although actually, I guess you would come here, you could grab the handle and close it. But if you wanted to, from the front seat, we can just click this handle right here. And down it goes. So pretty cool. And then same thing, this little handle right here closes the forward cargo hatch. This handle here closes the pilot door. I love all this functionality. And you can even click this guy to lock the door. So pretty neat stuff. So let's get the aircraft started and then we will get out of here. Now I'm not going to do detailed start, not going to really walk through the checklist. We're just going to get her started. So I will talk about a couple things. One of the things that has come up is the oxygen master switch as far as when that should be activated. Now, in previous videos, I did it at the startup. And then in other videos, after talking with some of you guys, the viewers, we sort of determined that, well, that doesn't really make much sense below 10,000 feet. However, another viewer this morning confirmed something that I had already seen, which is why I was doing this, which is that the Pilot's operational handbook for the TBM states during startup the oxygen master switch is turned on and then it is not referenced again until shutdown. And I saw the same thing, so I'm going to keep it at that. I don't know how the system necessarily works. If we have a real world TBM pilot, maybe you can shed some light. Maybe this is sort of the pilot's discretion but advised in the operational handbook. You know, let me know if you guys can get some factual information on that. Someone has mentioned, and I have seen this myself, if you guys have ever watched Stevo Knievo, he's got a really awesome channel. He flies the TBM-850. He is another one that I have seen in his videos turn this on at 10,000 feet. So maybe something has changed in the 900 series. I don't know. But let's see if we can work together to sort of figure out what the truth behind that is. But for simulation purposes, obviously, guys, I don't think it particularly matters, you know, but for those of us who are trying to be as realistic as we can, you know, something to think about. All right. But anyway, let's get going with this. So let's see here. We've got crash bar up, batteries on, generators on, starter is off, ignition to on, auxiliary boost pumps to on, fuel selection to manual, autopilot systems are off, nav systems on, pulse lights on, and now let's get downstairs. And we'll turn on the Garmin. Come back to the pilot seat. Look down for a second. Aircraft air conditioning off. Hot airflow should be set to the floor. So much for me not doing the checklist. And anti-static switch pushed and closed. Alright, so now let's go ahead and get her running. So we can give our starter switch a 1 and a 2. Let go. Let's come back to our forward panel. Back up one hair here. Looking for 13% on the NG. And we'll move her into low idle at a cutoff. So there's low idle. 53% will bring it all the way over into flight idle. Some other information that was given to me I'll share with you guys this morning. And guys, I really advise you on these videos to read through the comments. There's a lot of really good information that comes up, and you know, I get bummed out when I miss some of them until days later. Going into hide idle there, you can see we passed our marker there. Flaps should not be set down until you are lined up. Reason being is that the aircraft, and low-wing aircraft is my understanding, the reason being is that, and makes perfect sense, is that the wheels and the prop wash can kick up dirt, rocks, etc., any debris that may be down the ground, and throw it back at the flight surfaces. So that makes perfect sense. I mean, they're air flaps, not mud flaps, right? So makes sense to me. All right, pressurization up to bleed. And he said something else about the pitot heater. Oh, pitot heater should also not be turned on until we are airborne for the same reason. There isn't enough airflow going over the pitot system to cool them. Initial separator, that still needs to come on before taxi, so that way we don't suck up any debris into the intake and throw it into the engine. All right, but thank you guys so much for all the cool comments and stuff that I get, the neat information. You guys are just as valuable as a resource, things I can find online, and it really makes a big difference. Really improves the simulation of the flight. So I do appreciate it, and I want you guys to know that I am hearing you. All right, so parking brake released, and let's go test our flight. Not worried about track IR or anything like that today. We're just going to use the old mouse. Yep, just letting us know the initial separator's on. The power on the engine still seems really fast. Now, I don't know if that's, again, normal. I've never flown in a turbo prop, so that could absolutely be normal. I know you're not supposed to set the prop back to idle. You're just supposed to use the brakes to slow it down, so it has to do with the way the turbo prop works. I still don't quite understand all of that, but I do know that you're not supposed to completely idle a turbo prop until shutdown. So, my guess would be it has something to do with either the cooling system or the gearing system, but I'm not sure. I could look it up, but quite frankly, I got so much going on, I just haven't thought to. Uh-oh. I haven't checked ATIS. I haven't paid any attention to what the active runway is today. We're going to take off from 11 left, literally turn the aircraft around, and come back in on 29 right. Actually, we'll watch the winds. If we're on a tailwind, I will come around and land on 11 left again. I got a strobe light on. Oh, didn't even turn the taxi light on. And I do highly advise you guys to set up your own cockpit views. They make a huge difference. There's a bunch of views that, you know, are nice, and no offense to Asobo or anybody like that. It's cool they had those available, but creating your own views really does make it a lot easier, and you don't have to worry about the default views saving the camera position. You just set it to what you want. All right, so here is where we should be setting our takeoff flaps. I would imagine either here or rolling onto the runway. I can't imagine that would be. I mean, you're on the runway. If you're going to hit something, you're going to hit something, or pick up a rock or something, right? And it is a warm day, so just out of posterity's sakes here. All right, so here we are going to go ahead and turn our pitot heaters on. Looks like we're all set there. Oh, you know what I didn't do? See, I got to yapping. Got to yapping. Ignition and auxiliary boost pumps to auto. Fuel selection to auto, and we'll turn the oxygen master switch on. All right, as a test, just so I don't have to fight with it. Well, nah, we'll just do the old-fashioned way. Let's get rolling. Let's get what you guys are here to see. The other thing I did notice yesterday was the takeoff roll was very fast, so I'm sort of paying attention to that as well. Watching that torque on the Garmin there on the MFD, right, max torque, so we're at takeoff power. The takeoff roll seems a bit longer, which I like. Much better on the takeoff roll. I'm liking that a lot. And there's rotation speed, and it's a bit harder to pick up, which is good. And let's go ahead and actually we will set some altitude here. So we're going to go to 6,000. Let's go to flight level control. Set us up for 117 knots. So we should get there pretty quick. And let's see here. What else do I need? heading mode and give that autopilot a tap, and I just need to turn on the yaw damper. Alright. Oh, hey. Gear up and flaps up would be good, too. Alright, so she's going to climb like a rocket at only 117 knots. That's some pretty good angle there. Well, 14 degrees, so something changed. I think he changed more than what we think. That must have affected the weights and bounces of the aircraft somehow. She's not climbing as fast as she did yesterday. It climbed really quick yesterday and would go in excess of almost 20 degrees. And just, what's your problem? Oh, inlet temperature. My bad, I didn't pull the throttle back. Over torqued it. Alright, and we're airborne. Clear skies, initial separator off. And actually, I think this is good altitude. Let's go for 5,000, so I'm just going to tap the altitude button. Level her out. And let's see what our wind is. Okay, we do have a tailwind, so, alright, so we're good. Well, it's only 2 knots, but, so I'm just going to turn around and we're going to come in on 2908. I'm just going to give us a little bit of distance here. See where we're at. It's going to get a little loud here in a second. So I'm not paying much attention to audio and things like that today. Yeah, let's go for a few more miles, or at least another mile. And we'll turn it around and reconfigure the aircraft. Although don't need to be going that fast. I'm going to try to keep it close to approach speed. Someone also asked me how I'm manipulating all the autopilot controls without using the mouse. The answer to that, I will do my best to remember. Gosh, I'll do my best to remember. I'm so terrible about this part. To either add a card or check down the link description. I did a video last week, so check in my recent videos, and I think it's titled Autopilot Controls, where I show you guys how to bind everything to your HOTAS or whatever control system you're using. I use the honeycomb flight control systems when I'm not too lazy to plug them in, and then when I'm too lazy to plug them in, I use the Thrustmaster Warthog, which is what I'm using right now. I just hate switching between the two, and I have an 11-foot desk and still run out of space between the racing gear and the flight gear, and yeah. Come on, baby, turn around. Alright, there's our runway out there. Alright, so let's lock that in and give the autopilot another tap for a second. Alright, we're going to start pulling that speed off. What I haven't mapped, and the reason why I'm sort of all over the place at the moment, is I haven't mapped my flaps, gear, etc. I need to. Come on, sweetie. I need you to slow way down, man. You are flying. Yeah, I'm going to have to come around. We're going to do a full circle here. I got to bleed this airspeed off. So, to save some, I don't know if any of you are aware of the GPU usage issue. But if you notice, my stuttering has returned, and it's because I've turned VSync back on in an attempt to resolve the GPU usage issue. But that seems to be causing me more problems than it was worth. Alright, so I'm going to disable heading mode, and I'm going to try to lock that autopilot back up for a second. Get my flaps down. I'm going to go ahead and pull the gear down now, go full configuration. Come on, let go. Ah. Dude! Are you serious right now? Thank you. Mercy. Alright. So now we're configured. Gotta turn the yaw damper off. So yaw damper should be off on takeoff and on approach. Once you disable the autopilot, yaw damper should go with it. Did find that out from a viewer as well. And that makes sense. You would want full authority when landing the aircraft and takeoff. having to do this all by the manual trim here. I should have put my track IR on for this test. I really should have. Where's the airport? Oh, there it is. I see it. Saw it right as I turned my head. Alright, let's start turning towards. Be sort of a dirty approach, but I'm not here to look pretty today. I'm not here to be beautiful today. I'm here to see if this girl is beautiful. Did I just call myself a girl? The things we think about, huh? Alright, so pulling back the power, looking for that 85 knots for the approach speed. I do feel like that little 1 knot, 2 knot crosswind is more powerful than it should be. I mean, if I let go of the controls, it's pushing the aircraft. I mean, some of that may be prop torque, and I get that, but I don't know. And actually, I think the prop's going the other direction. Alright, moment of truth, guys and gals. Zero on the idle. We're on the throttle. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can get behind that. Yeah, I'd say it's fixed. Muggs, you magnificent man, you. Or woman, I don't know. I hope you're a man, because otherwise I just insulted you. Absolutely fantastic work. Absolutely. You are a simulation god, sir. All right. So, yeah, I would say that was great. We were wheels down with 3 degrees of nose up and 75 knots on the touchdown. You know, 85 knots is the approach speed. 75 knots wheels down. I can take that. The other thing, I'll give you guys a hint that I was messing around with earlier too. Even in the A320, make sure you get through the ground effect. You do have to wait a little longer with the current issues. Like, get a little lower. Get a little, you know. Tuck those socks up and grab your you-know-whats and let it get a little bit lower, and then you'll find that your approach speeds sort of line up well. So it's a toss-up, right? You know, do you want the approach speed to be accurate, or do you want the flaring point to be right? I guess it depends on what you're practicing, what you're looking for out of the sim. But I did find that helped. This seems to be just a higher layer of ground effect, I think, is what it... From what I'm experiencing, I could be completely mistaken on this, but from what I'm seeing, it feels like the ground effect is happening too soon, and I guess is too powerful at the higher altitude that I feel like we're experiencing it. But I could be completely off. You know, I don't know yet. But I'm just trying to speculate here and try to give us some tips on how to keep the sim fun. You know, I know that Asobo's doing a fantastic job. And that's the thing I want everybody to remember. I get how frustrating this is, but please, guys, please remember this is not a 20-year-old sim. Okay, it has the same brand name, but it is not the same simulator. Completely new architecture, completely new engines, completely new design, and it's still an infant. 6 months, that ain't squat, dude. That's nothing for simulations of this size. You can only test so much in-house when you get all the different variables, different products, different drivers, different third-party softwares, different aircraft, different weather systems, etc., etc., etc. It all adds up. It really does, and it makes it hard to diagnose a lot of this stuff from a developer standpoint. And the reason why I say this is I work in IT for software, as my screen almost froze right there. And I deal with a lot of the similar stuff. So I don't want you guys to think that, you know, I'm some cherry. I get super upset with this thing sometimes. Like if you watch it right now, look at the propeller. You know, the propeller keeps freezing and stuttering. And you know what? I think what's causing that is the VSync. I think I'm going to turn VSync off. GPU usage did seem to be resolved, but it's not worth it for me to have the VSync on. Unless, well, curious. Nope. Yeah. So I can only cap it at 60, so I'm going to turn it off. Because it just seems to, again, these are the trade-offs. Somebody had asked me if I hope you see this video, if I know how to disable the logbook at landing. I don't, but let's take a look together. See if there's any options in there. Check miscellaneous first. Legal credits. Flight model, data, being work, data concerns, and I think when it actually activates is when you park the aircraft. Is when you get the logbook. Cockpit tooltips, background opacity, main color, subtitles, skip pre-flight, controller vibration. That's gonna be graphics, camera, traffic. I don't know if you can, bud. Piloting notification, maybe? Pilot controls, aircraft system, flying tips, objectives. No, those are all off. Software tips, user experience. ATC UI panel opens at start. VFR map, navlog. Oh, well, let's open at start. But it doesn't say anything about it at shutdown. So I have this turned off, but I don't know. I don't know about shutdown, buddy. So anyway, I have no idea. Maybe you incredible modders out there can come up with something, because I do agree that's annoying. What we're referring to is, I'm sure you guys have all seen what we're talking about. When you park the aircraft, you get that navigation or that completion log that pops up. Do you want to continue or end the flight? At least I think that's what you're talking about. If we're talking about the same thing. But if you guys know how to disable that, because it is obnoxious, and it's an immersion breaker when you want to shut the plane down. Like, yeah, no, I'm not done. The plane's still running. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed this quick video. This is just a quick, fast one. Again, Muggs, thank you so much for all your hard work. I love this aircraft. I'm doing a lot of work with this aircraft. My guide that I'm working on is based around this aircraft, and you make it so much easier. So, guys, there is a donation site available on the FlightSim.2 website. You can see donate via PayPal. You can check out his Patreon or buy him a coffee. You know, I'm personally going to jump on board with that, and I'm just going to make the recommendation, if you guys are able to, help him out, because this is awesome. The doors, the features, fixing the landing speed the very next day, that's a lot of work. That's hard work. So again, Muggs, thank you very much, guys. Thank you all for the continued support, and I will see you in the next one.